Hello, everybody, and welcome to another cup of self-empowerment to trust, heal, and be thyself. And I'm absolutely honored and delighted to welcome our special guest today, Darlene Sochinis, who's here from us out of the US. Welcome, 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 Darlene. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for welcoming me into your container.
My absolute pleasure. For those of you who don't know Darlene, I'd just like to give you a little bit of background knowledge about Darlene. Darlene is a Reiki Master, a teacher, an author, a foundation builder, and the healer's cheerleader, initiating and activating healers and lightworkers' courage to come forth and live their true divine purpose. That's just beautiful. I love the cheerleader. I really like this effect because we do need to cheer each other on the whole time, totally.
Absolutely. And it's if someone is feeling scared or they just want to hide, and I see that they have this gift and they feel it too. You know, I don't cheerlead people unless they let me know that they have this dream and this passion. It's to get them out of that spiritual closet and into the world where they're meant to be. Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. So this leads me really on to my first question for you, Darlene, is that how did you actually start to trust thyself on your personal journey?
Well, it's ongoing. Learning to trust, trial and error.
Yeah.
The last few years have really shown me that my intuition is spot on and it's stronger than ever. And the more we tap into our own true self and our bodies, the more it's easier to say, yeah, that's it, and not have this conflict within myself because of what's being said outside of me, like the external authority figures. The more I learn to recognize and be aware of the signs my body is giving me, the stronger my intuition is and empowering my yeses.
No, I really agree with that, because, you know, we all have that intuition and we all feel those nudges. But it takes a lot of trust to actually follow through on those. And half the time, you know, because we're so toned down with everything what's going on around us on the outside, well, sometimes we're just pushing them away, those little nudges, those little feelings inside. And then, you know, we're eager to actually believe something which is outside of ourselves instead of actually going within and trusting that nudge within, because, you know, it's our own internal compass that knows, that intuition knows exactly where we're supposed to be going and what we're supposed to be doing. And, you know, you probably know yourself, you know, the times that we haven't trusted our intuition and then it unfolds and then you're kind of kicking yourself because you're like, I knew that. So, you know, this is an invitation to anybody who's watching. You know, trust that little nudge, because otherwise it will come along and it will bite your bum, basically. Definitely.
And when we don't listen to our truth, our body will let us know. And sometimes that's illness and sickness. My awakening started with a cancer diagnosis. I wasn't listening to that intuition. I kept pushing it aside and suppressing what my heart was telling me. So that's when I learned it's more important to trust and maybe, piss somebody off because it's not worth, and it's hard for us if we're people pleasers. And I was a teacher with, little kids. So my main objective in life was to please these little munchkins, So, being a people pleaser, it was often my job or my role to give into those intuitive nudges, and it led to it led to something physical. Because the more we ignore something our body is telling us, the louder our bodies are going to get. So that's
But you're fine. You're fine now.
17 years. Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
Ago.
Oh, 17. Wow. Whoa.
And it was an amazing, eye-opening experience. And it still took years to learn to trust myself. But I always went back to that moment, that phone call of, guess what you have?
Oh my God.
But what I did a couple years ago, as I was developing confidence along with trust, because you
Yeah,
don't always trust yourself unless you're confident in yourself.
that's true.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and so as I was building that confidence a couple years ago, I decided, it was January 1st. I don't remember what year. All our years are blending together.
Yeah, they
I made
are.
this, yeah, I made this choice. And I said, from now on, whenever I hear an intuition, an internal nudge, whether it was for that very second or, to plan it ahead
Yeah.
in the future, I was going to act on it immediately. And so
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing the last few
That's
years.
so good. That is just, wow. I'm still in shock, how you kind of just wow. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
we all have that.
Yeah, we do.
That
We do.
opening, yeah, that awakening.
And it usually is not the nicest on, yeah. Oh, but thank goodness that, that's all gone down back to bay and that you're okay. So, and like, for instance,
yeah.
thank goodness for that. Thank
And
goodness you're trusting it now. Oh my goodness.
If it is in a nice way, we don't usually listen if it's a nice nudge or,
Yeah.
and if we look back at our lives before the big one happened, you can see where the little nudges were. So,
actually,
right. So something I would love to do is create like a movement so that those who wake up and know that they're healers, and even if they're younger people, before the big horrible thing happens, I want healers to step into their potency and their gifts before that big thing happens. So they don't, but there's also lots of lessons in the big thing.
Most definitely, yeah. It's not all silver linings and rainbows and stuff like that. It usually is a big slap around the face and, yeah, a couple of dagger knives maybe coming at you. I don't know. I mean, it's different for everybody, and I truly do believe, in my heart of hearts, that each and everybody has that ability within themselves. We're all born with it. It's just whether we're going to switch it on or not, and surrender to rediscovering who we are, basically. So how did you, obviously you had this news, and then for you it was definitely, you needed to step into healing thyself. So how did you do this?
Well, the first few days I was in total shock.
Yeah.
Like I was immobile, paralyzed. And there was one night, it was like 3:00 in the morning. I wasn't sleeping. And I went into a room, the lights were out, and I sat under the desk and just like in the fetal,
okay, like in the fetal position.
I was in the fetal position, and all of a sudden the room turned purple, green, and blue. And it was 3 archangels. My first my first conscious experience with something of that nature.
Wow.
So Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Gabriel. And the 3 of them surrounded me. It was like the biggest, most beautiful hug ever. And the room just like
seriously.
And they said, you're going to be okay. Just simply, take the time, breathe, because I had stopped breathing at some point. Breathe and follow your intuition, and we're going to guide you to what you need to do in order to get to the other side of this. So for the first time, I took a deep breath, and I really felt this like instant peace. Like, even if the journey might have been a little struggle, I knew the end result was going to be something beautiful. So the next day I woke up, and immediately in my head, I don't even think I heard words, but I just got in my car and I drove to the bookstore that was near my house.
Okay.
And I walked in, I said, okay, there's a lot of books here. This is a big bookstore, like a Barnes and Noble. And so I was led to go to the right and then walk around one of the aisles and I looked up self-help section. I'm like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I looked down and there's 3 shelves listed Reiki, hands-on healing. I'd never heard of it,
Yeah.
but my intuition was saying,
oh my
this is it.
goodness.
This is your answer. So I sat there all day. It was a Saturday. I sat there all day and just read every book on the shelf.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is it, this hands-on healing. So I went back home and started searching. This was before Google. There were websites,
It
but
would
not
be 7 years ago. It would
right.
be. Oh my goodness.
So it wasn't, we had search engines, but not so.
It was the dial-up connection when you got the weird noise going on to get into the internet. Oh my goodness. I feel old.
There were 3. There were 3 I found out. I had just moved here, by the way, from where I'm living, like cross country, moved here, didn't know a single soul. And I went on the internet and I found 3 Reiki practitioners, and 2 of them, I didn't, the face, the smile, I go by eyes and smile when I connect with somebody. And this one person, her picture on her website was her standing in her store behind her desk, this big, beautiful smile, her eyes just shining bright. I'm like, that's her. And I went and interviewed her and immediately started Reiki sessions. And my first experience on her Reiki table, it was in the middle of the session and I just sat right up, because most of the time you're laying down when you're receiving a Reiki session. I sat up in the middle of it and I said, this is what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life.
Oh my goodness.
So after the surgeries and while I was getting treatments for the year, I started Reiki training in the middle of all of it. So yeah.
Wow.
And it was interesting too, because I thought it would be for cancer patients.
Okay.
So as I started my journey as a practitioner, my thought was, okay, I'll go to hospitals and talk to people about how Reiki is helping me with cancer. And oh man, that was not what happened. It was an interesting experience. I don't know how it is in Europe, but here in the States, and depending on which state you're in, apparently I'm in a state where it wasn't really acceptable.
I think it's more acceptable in the UK. In Germany, at the moment, they're not quite there yet. And in the UK, it's very welcomed. But it's really interesting that you mentioned, you wanted to help cancer parents and patients, because I actually lost my mum 18 years ago to cancer. And it's like, it's just like, I wish I'd known about, I'd discovered all this stuff before then, because it would have just made her transition, that little bit more comfortable, I do believe. So it is wonderful that you are the living proof that it works. You healed. You helped, heal yourself. That's just, I'm a bit lost for words, if I'm really honest, because we know this is all true. But then, when the story is just being like said to you, like face to face like this, it's just like, because obviously it touches me near to home, because I lost my mum to cancer and it was all very, very quick. She passed like within 3 weeks we lost her. So it was all very traumatic. But it's just like, wow, that you were able to do that. It's just incredible. Wow. So so you obviously done your practitionership. You now teach and practice and teach others to become Reiki teachers themselves, and obviously offer sessions to people too. So how did you was this how you would say you stepped in to be unapologetically thyself, being you? Or I know this is always a journey. I know it's not like there's never an end destination where you say, yep, I'm done. I've reached that.
It's definitely my foundation. No question. And it gave me hope. It helped me to shift my energy from sad and anxiety to more of it relaxed my nervous system, and to see how powerful it was when I was taking treatments and everyone was saying, you're going to get sick, you're going to have to leave work and all of these other things. And I went every 3 weeks for a session, as well as learning hands-on healing from like self Reiki.
Yeah.
I was tired. Yeah, I won't deny that, but I didn't miss any work. And I made it. And they even said, not everybody gets through the whole year of treatment. And I made it right to the end. And just the Reiki kept me going on so many levels, you know, physically and energetically. I didn't get the side effects.
Yeah.
And so just having that, being that example of living proof was really what helped to develop that trust, and that I could heal myself.
Yeah, totally. You totally did. You totally did. And thank
goodness. It's like my walking story, right?
You are, you're walking your talk completely. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So what advice, I mean, there's so much advice in all the words you've spoken up to now, everything which has just come out, you know, it's just, you know, in the trauma of it all, it's just really beautiful as well, you know, the connections that you've had. And I mean, you know, that you saw the archangels and stuff like that. That's just amazing. That's just amazing, you know, that you were able to physically see that, you know. So what advice would you like to give anyone who's watching us today, you know, about stepping into mastering thyself? You know, what tips would you like to give them?
Really what I teach everybody. And it's the basis of the lineage of Reiki that I teach. It's not necessarily to become a practitioner or a teacher. There's concepts in it. There's precepts, and it's that even if someone doesn't choose Reiki as their foundation, it's something, choosing yourself every day.
Yeah.
Really, like, and what is that foundation you're going to be as you're choosing yourself? Devoting time to yourself. That is the key to trusting and to heal yourself.
Yeah.
Is to commit to yourself, devote time every single day. And it's not, oh, when you have time, it's not 3 times a week, or I'll get to it on the, you know, every Saturday. It's an everyday experience. You have to stop and listen, because if a day goes by and you're not listening to your body or your intuition and your intuitive nudges, something can slip by.
It's true, because they're all very quick, you know, to think, oh, I haven't got time, I'll do it later. And then that later doesn't always happen.
Right, exactly. And we can come up with all the excuses. And
each and every one of us can, you know, we can all do it. It's all, you know, part of being human. We can do that, you know.
And it's so I remember listening to Abraham Hicks. And what helped me in some other moments in my life, he was saying that it takes 17 seconds a day to devote to yourself to start shifting your vibration and your energy.
17 seconds.
17 seconds. And that seems so small.
Yeah.
Even if someone tries 17 seconds, it's going to probably be at least 60 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
So if the human mind can give herself 17 seconds or even 60 seconds, it's a start. And you have to start somewhere. And even if it's a minute a day, and then build on it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And that minute a day, you know, you can just literally be just sitting there with yourself and just breathing, you know, just really making sure you're having those deep, heartfelt breaths, inhaling and out, and really just connecting, you know. And you can ask for the messages and nudges to come through, you know. It's easy enough just to say, hey, I'm ready to receive, and just see what your body wants to tell you, basically.
Right. Wow. And even and it's the way to get to what you're talking about, because some people, even if they gave themselves that 60 seconds, it would take them time to get to hearing and listening.
Oh yeah, it doesn't just come like, oh, I'm sitting there, drop. No, it's, you know, you don't go to the gym and start lifting up, you know, massive weights. You have to train the muscle, and, you know, your psychic senses are muscles which have been kind of dormant. They've been sleeping. They need to be woken up. And you need to give them a little bit of a nudge every now and again and slowly wake them up. You know, sometimes they do switch on like that. You know, something can happen and they can just go really on fire straight away. But then also you've got to learn to integrate that and to, you know, cultivate that connection basically. Yeah.
And daily, every day, especially in the beginning.
Oh yeah. I even think, you know, anywhere on your journey, anywhere. And it's just, even if it is, as you said, you know, taking that time for yourself, just taking that time just to breathe, just to, you know, let go of the outside world. You know, as you said, 17 seconds can turn into a minute, that minute can turn into 2, it could turn into 5 minutes, it can turn into 10 minutes. No one's expecting you to sit like 5 hours in meditation. I mean, if you want to, and you can do, please go and do it. But, you know, it's a process, isn't it? It's a little baby step and it just keeps bigger and bigger. Wow.
Right. Yes.
So how could you personally support our viewers, you know, on their journey to trust, heal, and be thyself? How do you work with your clients? What could you offer our viewers today if they felt like they thought, okay, I really feel I want to connect with Darlene? How can they get in contact with you? What sort of services do you offer?
My home office. So most of my services are remote since the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I do online healings, and my sessions are different than just, you know, an hour long sending Reiki or energy work. I sit and talk with the person, and we discuss what's coming up.
Yeah.
You know, what is it that you're wanting to look at today? So even if they send me an intake form,
yeah,
I still ask them,
of course,
what is it today?
Change. Yeah.
Yes. You know, so while they're talking, and this is the beauty of conversation and connection, while they're talking, I'm also being Reiki energy. I'm also holding them in this space, this like haven of safety and love. So not, because what I've learned is I took for granted that I had an immediate community when I stepped into this work. It was my Reiki community, because my Reiki practitioner had Reiki circles and had already a community. So I immediately stepped into a safe place.
Yeah.
What I'm finding in my work with my clients is most people don't have that. True. So what I do is, in these one-on-one sessions, I show them that they can feel safe. They can feel supported, because that's, before jumping into a healing session, someone has to first feel safe and comfortable.
Of course, because otherwise, completely. Yeah.
So my sessions are that, you know, it's being the Reiki energy while they start sharing whatever it is that's coming up for them. And also, you know, I do mentoring too. So for the healers who are already in practice, like someone who is a therapist or a teacher or a doctor or a nurse, and they're wanting to break free of the old paradigm of a therapist, of a, you know, how can they're feeling that call that the energy work is important to integrate. So that's one of my favorite.
I can imagine. Yeah.
One of my favorite sessions right now is to help and support the people who were in an older paradigm with their career, now wanting to break free of that, or learning how to integrate the energy work into their own lives so that they can then share it with their clients and patients. Yeah.
Or even with their family, you know.
That's that's one of them, the benefits, the side effects.
Yeah. My kids adore it. You know, my kids love it. You know, they ask for it. And it's wonderful that, you know, we're at this age where it's normal. You know, if I think when I was little, no. I think my mum would have been like, "You want what?"
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the Ouija board out, Kelly. No, I don't think so, kind of thing. Yeah, that kind of like.
Right. And people do compare it because it's the unknown. We were taught that it's unknown, and it's actually the natural.
Totally. It's going back to, you know, the original. It's called, it's natural, original, the roots.
Our DNA is waking up.
Yeah, our ancestors are Passing
right?
back that knowledge back down to us. Oh,
Right.
oh, wow. So how can people reach out to you? Your website,
Well,
email? Can you just let them know what they are?
I have two websites that I'm working on, but I will send people to indigohealingspdx.com.
Okay.
And there is a lot of information there. And
Brilliant.
also darlenesocian.net is also.
Okay. And people can find you on Facebook or Instagram as well?
Yes, yes.
Excellent. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing such a honest and personal journey with us all today. I mean, that's just, I wasn't expecting that.
It's been a journey.
Yeah,
It's definitely been a journey. And I do have a Facebook group, Healers Awaken Your Potency. So people, if they're looking to find ways to stir up, their truth and their potency rather than hiding, it's a safe place to come and play.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to welcome you again. And thank goodness is all I can say that you followed those nudges. Thank goodness, thank you for that, Whew. Wow. Yeah. So everyone, we hope you've had a beautiful time watching this session today and learned as much as I've learned as well today about Darlene myself. And, if Darlene resonates with you, she would be more than delighted to help you on your journey to trust, heal, and be thyself as well. So, take care, everyone. And we look forward to connecting with you and seeing you again soon for another cup of self-empowerment to trust, heal, and be thyself. So take care and bye-bye.